Hello, long time since the last video. Obviously I wanted to do one before now. Been a bit busy, but thought good time now. The first international break of the season. Bit of a catch up to do in terms of where Liverpool are so far. Obviously 4 out of 4, perfect start to the season, sitting top of the table. Man City dropping those 2 points so far at home to Spurs, which I didn't see coming. But yeah, I mean, Liverpool, I'll go through the matches that we've had so far. Obviously picked up that Super Cup trophy as well. So good start all round for the first sort of mini break of the season. There is another one coming up, I think, October and November, internationals. And then there's no internationals till March, I believe. So yeah, it'll be the meat of the season, if you like, after the November international break. So yeah, I'll just start with that first game of the season, all the way back to that Friday night game against Norwich. I was confident going into that game. Obviously, Norwich run away with the championship in the end. Pukki, really has carried on where he left off in the championship. So he got a goal against Liverpool in that second half. But yeah, we started well. Obviously, Origi started that game up front. Looked really sharp. Got a goal, the own goal, by a bit of clever play going down the left-hand side. Obviously, you've got Mo Salah got the second, Van Dijk got the third with a header, and Origi got the header, to make it 4-0 in the first half, which was really, really, really good. So yeah, a little bit dead in the second half. Felt like we did all our early sort of work. Norwich got a bit more clued up at the back, stopped, it was a little bit of an onslaught at the start, managed to get that goal back, and I think both teams were kind of happy in the end. Liverpool to win, Norwich to not concede a bucket load on their first game back. So good start there. Moved on from the Friday into the midweek game. Obviously, we were in Istanbul with Chelsea, which went to extra time, which wasn't ideal. Obviously, we'd lost the Community Shield the week before on penalties, so obviously it went to penalties after a bit of an unbalanced first half. Chamberlain began the game. Didn't have his best half in the Liverpool shirt, which was disappointing, but without Firmino, it's just not balanced. I mean, I've seen a lot of discussion this week about the importance of Liverpool's front three and sort of the ranking order of them, and Firmino's pretty much been top on everybody's list. So I think without him, the likes of Salah and Mane don't really play sort of as they can. Firmino really brings the best out of them. So without Firmino sort of in that middle role, Salah and Mane that we want to see don't really happen. So he, in my opinion, is also the most important player in that front three. So obviously we got Mane got the 2 goals in his. I think that was his first game. I don't think he played in the Norwich game. So 2 goals in the Chelsea game. One of them an absolute screamer. I did think we'd won it in extra time, but Chelsea got the late equaliser and it went to pens, which was close. Origi and Trent sneaked their penalties in, and obviously Hero Adrian came on in that Norwich game for Alisson, who looks like he's going to be out for a little bit longer now. Obviously hasn't made too much of a difference so far, but hopefully he's back soon. But yeah, Adrian did alright, played well in the Super Cup, and saved the penalty from Abraham, which won us the title. So I think, personally, having won the Champions League last season, I would have preferred to win the Super Cup this year than the Community Shield, because it's really, Man City have won the league, the FA Cup, I think even the League Cup, so they deserve the Community Shield, domestic sort of, shield title, if you like. And Liverpool winning the Champions League, really, you want to win the Super Cup, you want to win the World Club Cup, which I'll come on to as well, because, you don't know when you're next going to be in that. You've physically got to win the Champions League, or drop out of it altogether and win Europa, which doesn't look like it's going to happen. So, I don't know when else you're going to get the chance to win these sort of tournaments. 2005 being the last time we were in the Super Cup, when we beat CSKA in Moscow and came up short against Sao Paulo in the World Club Cup. But yeah, I'll get onto that later on. So into the third match of the season, I'm just going to go quickly through these really quickly. Away to Southampton, 2-1 win. Obviously Mane again, another cracking goal. Firmino, a really good goal as well. Adrian with that Liverpool goalkeeper curse, the error. The pass back from Van Dijk just stood on the ball a bit too long, and his clearance hit Danny Ings and went in the back of the net. Would have been a bit more worse if Ings did score that sitter at the end for 2-2. That would have been shocking. But yeah, again, we were totally in control of 2-1 flat at Southampton. That should have been another 3-0 in my opinion. So yeah, take the points. Any win away from home against any team is a brilliant result. So move on, get the points in the bag. That was good. I've just quickly, before I move on to the next game, obviously the transfer window kind of ended around that at the start of the season, but we still, loaned out a few, sold a few. So I'll quickly just go through those. Harry Wilson, who I did think might stick around this year after a good year with Lampard and Derby, went out on loan to Bournemouth, which I think it's now or never now. I think, he's proved he can do it in the Championship, and he's started to prove he can do it in the Premier League, and I think that's what Klopp needed to know before he brought him into the full squad. Can he do it at this level? And, he's already scored a trademark free kick for Bournemouth, so if he carries on going, I can see him really being a part of the first team picture. Not the first 11, but definitely coming off the bench and sort of playing in the cups for us next season. So that would be good to see. Obviously, Simon Mignolet moved on because Adrian came in on a free. We got 9 million from him from Club Bruges, which was a good deal. I think 30 years old, he's not going to be wanting to be a backup goalie. He wants to go and play. He wants to go back to Belgium. Obviously, Adrian was released by West Ham, so any offer of any football from any type of club he was going to take, really. So we know when Liverpool come calling, even if you're primarily going to be a backup goalie, you sign on the dotted line, don't you? Obviously, Lovren was linked heavily with a move away. He's come out this week and said he wanted to go, but accepted that Liverpool wanted him, which fair enough. I'm not Lovren's biggest fan in terms of his footballing ability. I think he has cost us goals, a few times over the last few seasons. I don't think he's absolutely at the top of his game in terms of the highest level. I think we've got 3 better centre backs than him, but as a 4th choice centre back, and in and around the squad, he's been there for about 5 years now. I like the guy. I think he's good. Him and I've got a great relationship. So the fact that he's sticking around, I'd rather have Lovren as a 4th choice centre back than 15 million sitting in the bank doing nothing, and us being short when Gomez or Matip pick up an injury, or they both do. They end up with Fabinho at centre back. So yeah, if we had a window and a chance to buy a replacement, fair enough. But I think at least 1 more year from Lovren. I'd like to see. I think Vandenberg will probably start to play a bit more in a year's time, as will sort of Harvey Elliott as well. But yeah, for another year, Lovren ticks a box for me. A couple of youngsters went out the way. Kent's joined Rangers permanently. He's been out on loan there for a little while. He's one of them, isn't he? He sort of plays pre-season games every sort of summer. He gets in the team when everyone else is on international duty before the season starts, does all right, and then goes out on loan. So I don't think he's a young boy anymore. So it was time to move him on. Really, £7 million was a pretty good deal. Somewhere he's played before. Gerrard knows him from the Liverpool sort of a youth team reserve days anyway. So yeah, good luck to him. Other one I was going to mention, I'm not going to go too deep into it because I don't really know the ins and outs. I can make a pretty good guess. Bobby Duncan, obviously, looks like he wanted a loan move to Fiorentina. Liverpool obviously decided that for his development, it was best for him to stay, in the youth team in Liverpool. But and we would bring him through and loan him out when we felt he was ready. His agent doesn't look like the greatest guy in the world. He's obviously decided that that's not the best for Duncan. Told him that he needs to force the move, which he's done by sort of publicly admitting that Liverpool were bullying him, which I'm not really too sure. I don't really know the ins and outs, but I very much doubt that's the case. So yeah, obviously got his move, £2 million to Fiorentina, and probably never to be heard of again. It's not something I'd want to happen to a young player. I think I was really excited about seeing Bobby Duncan in the first team within the next couple of years, but if they'd rather get the move now and go and disappear in Italy than wait their time at Liverpool, then maybe it's the best that they do. So that was that. Obviously, I've mentioned we've got to stay perfect for the remaining games. Really, if we want to win the league ahead of the juggernaut that is Man City. So we carried on. I was down in Cornwall for this one. Liverpool beating Arsenal 3-1. Weirdly, it was surrounded by Arsenal fans, So it was a bit awkward, but, 3-1 win. I did actually see Paul Machin in the Exeter services while I was down there. I think he was going down for a wedding, the Redmen TV guy. So, yeah, he was nice enough to stop for a photo with me. So, I'll sort of give him a follow, Mach TV and Redmen TV. Really nice guy, always watching his videos, and they're really, really good. So, yeah, fair play to him. He was down with family, just asked him for a quick picture, and he was more than happy. So, top man there. Say about the Liverpool game, 3-1 against Arsenal. Usually a pretty decent fixture for us. Matip put us 1-0 up with the header. Salah scored that unbelievable sort of solo goal as he outrun David Luiz and slotted it home for a standard Salah goal. And then the Salah penalty, which was blatant. I don't really know why David Luiz is complaining. The most blatant pull of a shirt you'll ever see. Yeah, just because Salah doesn't throw himself to the floor, it's like, oh, it's not a penalty. Whereas, he can't really win, can he? If he does dive over the floor to make it obvious that he's been fouled, everyone says he's diving. Whereas if he stays on his feet, it's sort of like, oh, you stayed on your feet. It can't have been that bad. So, I admit he has overdone it, and he has fell over too easily at times and got penalties, but don't they all? So it's a difficult one. It's 100% penalty, but do you stay on your feet and risk the ref not giving it, or do you go down and get the guaranteed pen, but get criticism for going over too easily? It's a difficult one. But yeah, that was obviously another win, 3 out of 3. On to the Burnley game. Another 3-0, nice 3-0 win there. Three more goals, sorry. Trent with a very unlucky not to score, well, not to have the goal. He got it chalked off for an own goal off of Chris Wood, which Klopp, in his interview post-match, was not too impressed with. But yeah, that was put us on our way. Burnley are a good side. I was a bit worried about that one, going away to Burnley. But no, it was a good result. Mane obviously getting on the score sheet, and Firmino. Obviously, we had that Salah Mane sort of spat at the end, which wasn't ideal, but if I'm honest, it's been brewing for a while. Salah is very greedy. He's a fantastic player, but he does need to pass more. He'll admit that himself, that, it's a good problem to have. You've got two players there that are both going for the golden boot. Salah's obviously won it once on his own. Last year they shared it, and, this year, obviously they both won it again. So it's good to have a bit of greed, but not to the point where a pass is setting up Mane for a tap in, and you're trying to beat 2 or 3 players with another skill that you don't really need to do. So yeah, I think come on, Salah, just start to pass a little bit more. Not saying you can't do your crazy runs because they're brilliant, but you shouldn't be upsetting the front three. You got to be working together as part of a team. It looks like it's been laughed off. Milner, Classy Millie's been putting on Instagram that he thought the reaction was because he hadn't got on the pitch, and a few of them have been having a little laugh about it. So I hope it's brewed. It's been talked through behind closed doors, as it should be, and we'll move on, and we'll come back after the international break, hopefully injury free, and carrying on really with the form that we've showed so far. Hoping that really looking at our next sort of 4 games, that we can continue really to win every game. We start with a home game against Newcastle. I know they went to Spurs and won, but Tottenham are not anywhere near the level of Liverpool, and Anfield is a different ball game. So yeah, I'd be amazed if we didn't win that game. Absolutely gobsmacked if we didn't win against Newcastle at home. Even if Salah has a bad game or Mane has a bad game, you've got Firmino, you've got Origi coming in, you've got a lot of players that have got to have a bad game for us not to win that match. I can't see us conceding the goal, and I can see us scoring minimum 1. So, hopefully more. But yeah, I think that's going to be a win. Chelsea away, start of the season, I had this down as a draw, but looking at Chelsea's form recently, I don't actually think I think they won 1 Premier League game or 1 game this season under Lampard, which was a 3-2 against Norwich, which wasn't completely convincing. So really, Sheffield United got a draw there. So do you not think Liverpool should be going there really for a win? I think Liverpool go into every game, probably bar City away, looking to win the game. But yeah, I'd take a draw. That's not the end of the world. But if you take a draw, Man City's blitzing 5 goals every game are going to overtake us. So do you want to lose an advantage that you've got, even though it's early? It's 2 points. 2 points would have won us the league last season. So I think we go all out. I think we beat Chelsea away. I think we've got a better team than we had last year, and I think Chelsea have got a worse team than they had last year, and it was a draw last year. So, I think we can win that game. As I mentioned, Sheffield United, we've got them away week after that. If you're trying to win a league title, you have to beat home and away the promoted sides. It's just you have to. Like, if you don't, you're not going to win the league. It's as simple as that. Man United in the 90s, 2000s were winning the league, with 20 less points than you need now. But it's not the case. You've got two teams that are just juggernauts. 90, mid 90 points, and you might not win the league. It's insane. So every single game is you have to win. You have to win nearly every single game. And when we do play Man City, that's where we need to improve, because last year we drew at home, should have lost away, possibly unlucky not to draw. So I think head-to-head against Man City are going to be the big games that we need to win, or at least not lose. And after the Sheffield United game, which we should win, we've got Leicester at home, which was a draw last season, which in effect cost us the league. So I think that was in that kind of January time. I might be wrong, but I think it was when we had West Ham as well. We had two draws quite close together, and I think United we drew with not too far away after that as well. So it'd be nice to put that right. Maguire scored the goal. He's not there anymore, but Leicester do look a good team this season under Brendan Rodgers. They've got a lot of players in form. I don't think their defence is particularly brilliant, but I think midfield, and obviously you've always got the threat of Jamie Vardy, who is absolute quality up front. James Maddison putting it on a plate for him. I think Evans and Soyuncu, I think that's how you say it, are there to be got at. They've got decent fullbacks, but a decent goalie as well. I think centre mid we can get at them. I think defensive centre backs we can get at them with our speed. So hopefully a win away to Leicester. But just sort of wrapping up really now. Don't want to make it too long. I think we've seen now really with Tottenham that you don't have to spend every summer. And you physically can't. So I think it's moving towards every other year now, where you're going to be seeing teams sort of heavily invest in the first team. So looking at who we've got contract wise, you've got Lovren, you've got Milner, you've got Lallana, you've got Klein, all looking like they've not really got much left to give for Liverpool now. So I think they will be moving on next summer. I think we will probably be bringing in 4 or 5 players in the summer of 2020. I mean, you've got Lovren, as I say. Vandenberg, I don't know if he's going to be ready next year to step up, but it'd be good to see a centre-back signing. I think that's something we've needed for a while. I think James Milner's probably going to be in his last year, which is a great shame because he's absolute quality. He just keeps on going, but I think it's maybe one year too far for him, the 2020-21 season. I think he might go somewhere like Leeds if they do go up. Or maybe even if they don't, to try and get them up in his last year, I think would be a pretty good way to go out, his home team. And he's quite a little bloke, so I think that's it's probably likely. I think Lallana, I think he's outstayed his welcome really a little bit. I mean, he's a great lad, he's a really nice guy, but it's just he's not really given anything to the team in the last sort of couple of years. I mean, I think the last time I've seen him play well was when we had that sort of yellowy lime fluorescent kit with the grey bit at the top. When he was, he was really, really good player, but since then injuries have not been ideal, and even when he has played, he's not at the level anymore that's going to make a difference in those big, league title matches, Champions League knockout matches. I think there's people ahead of him in the pecking order. So I'd expect to see him move on, Southampton, Bournemouth, something like that, and probably same for Klein. It's only 28, but. Injury after injury, and they're not small. They are, they're big injuries. So I think Klein's going to be moving on as well, and so I'd like to see us sign a centre back, a centre mid, probably a winger to rotate in with Mane, Salah, probably a right back and a left back backup, because say if we did lose Lovren, Gomez and Matip could be the centre back options behind Van Dijk. Gomez can obviously play at right back, but I have mentioned before, I think we need an actual right back and an actual left back cover for Robertson and Trent really going forward. So it'd be good to see that. The likes of Man City have got backups in 2 world class players in every position. So if you wanted to be competing with them over a 38-game season, you need to do the same, really. So that would be good to see if we do make some signs. I don't think we're going to see much in January, if I'm honest, unless we get, an injury crisis. Even then, Klopp's quite stubborn. He likes to use what he's got. You've got the likes of Brewster and Elliott, are knocking on the door. Shaqiri, I would like to see feature more. Keita is, fast becoming a flop at the moment. It would be good, he had a bit of good form towards the end of last season, but he's another one that any time he gets any kind of, flow or form, gets an injury, 6 weeks, and has to start all over again when he comes back in the team. So that's another one I'd like to see improve. So I mentioned Chamberlain at the start of the video. He looks like he's the sort of first one to come on as a sub when we do have those midfield free starting the games of Henderson, Wijnaldum and Fabinho. He seems to be the next one in if we do make a sub Chamberlain. So I think, obviously you have a year out. I think he'll start to build and come back into the first team picture, really, if I'm honest. I think he's a better player than Jordan Henderson. I know Henderson's a great captain, a great leader, a great talker, but in terms of quality, I think he's probably towards the bottom of our midfield options, with Milner probably. So, as I say, Fabinho, Wijnaldum, Chamberlain probably be my midfield three. Keita, possibly when he comes back from his injury, and I'd like to see us sign one more next summer. A few last things to mention. Anfield expansion's been mentioned. The Anfield Road end, which we did have planning permission for, which I think we've now allowed to lapse because we want to do new plans, so to make it a little bit bigger. Which I think at the time they didn't think it made sort of monetary sense. Were we going to get back? How long was it going to take for us to repay, the cost of it with ticket sales? But I think Fenway just need to have a little bit of a backward step from purely money business decisions. I think, do you know what? If it takes 20 years to get the money back, 15 years, we owe this to the club's fans to have a bigger stadium, to sell more tickets, to give people more option to watch Liverpool Football Club. So it's not really a case of it's not going to be worth it monetary wise. I think you just do it. You've got West Ham with a bigger stadium than Liverpool, Arsenal, Tottenham, United, City are pretty close. So 54,000 for the champions of Europe. You got Barcelona and Madrid hitting 80, 90. So really, I think minimum we need to be hitting 60,000 with an Anfield Road expansion. Hopefully expand the COP to compete with the Yellow Wall at Dortmund and Spurs' new biggest single tier stand. I'd like to see Liverpool hit 80,000 eventually. I don't know if that's possible, but I think if you get up, we're on 54. If we get up to 60 with Anfield Road, I'd like to say maybe 66 with the COP being expanded, and maybe the Kenny Dalglish stand mirroring the new main stand, maybe getting us up to sort of 70, mid 70s maybe, which would be good to to at least kind of have the same sort of size as United at Old Trafford. So that'd be good. Last few things. Kit deal looks like Nike will be coming in the summer, which I'm sort of happy with. I've kind of wanted Nike for ages, but they've just started to go towards this kind of fashion style with actually having the word Nike on the Nike tick, and I'm not majorly fond of this whole kind of retro style. I like retro designs, i.e. the stripes that we've got this season based on previous kits, but full-on retro materials and designs and flashy kind of designs, not really my thing. Hope they don't go down that route with Liverpool. I hope they keep it slick and simple if it is Nike that come in. Klopp's contract, he's come out and said this this last few weeks that it expires in 2022 and he's probably going to have a break from football, which he did say at Dortmund, and just jump back into football maybe about 6 months later with Liverpool. So who knows? I'd really be disappointed if he was to step down in 2022. I think he's got far more to give. He's still a very young manager in terms of age, and other managers that are still going now. So I think one more contract, if we can get him down to sort of 2020, 2025, 26, 27, somewhere around there, and then if he does want to have a break, to focus on other things, fair play. But I'd be really gutted if he was to go. I mean, that's the end of this season and 2 more seasons, and he's gone. I know Gerrard's been touted as a potential successor, which would be good because, you know, he knows the style of play that we want to play. He knows the club inside out. You know, he's going to have all the respect, a bit like Lampard at Chelsea, but with a transfer kitty to spend. So he's going to know the sort of players that we want to bring in, and he's going to, you know, the players that are already there, the world-class players, are going to be thinking, you know, Stevie G, he's a respected man at this club, and we will follow him. So that's watch this space on that one. Hopefully Klopp will stay. But I think Gerrard is destined to become Liverpool manager one day. I just think 2022 is a few years too soon. So that's it from me. I will probably do another video after a couple more games have passed. Obviously, we're on the international break now, so I thought it was a good time to do a quick catch-up video. So yeah, catch you soon, and thanks for watching.